What if the answer to your prayers is buried in your notes app? God is calling you to create. You've planned enough, read enough books, listened to enough podcasts, consumed enough content about that thing that God has placed in your heart to do. The world doesn't need another plan from you. It needs what's already in your hands. It's time to create. Because too many of God's children are full of inspiration and revelation, but empty when it comes to execution. So a few weeks ago, while I was planning my own goals for the rest of the year, I sensed God nudging me to help others do the same. He specifically highlighted those who have let fear, procrastination, or perfectionism hold them back from acting on their God-given ideas. So yes, I'm side-eyeing you. The world is bold about its message, about pushing its agenda, about accomplishing its goals and bringing its dreams to life. But you, child of God, you're quiet. Why? Because you're paralyzed by overthinking, by fear of people's opinions, by the lie that you are not ready. Don't get me wrong. I get it. I've been there. But fear is not an excuse. After God told me that He wanted me to help His children turn their unfinished ideas into finished goals, He gave me a target of 10,000 people. My first thoughts wasn't faith. It was fear. Because where am I going to find 10,000 people? But then God reminded me that it isn't my job to find them, but it is my job to walk in obedience in the assignment that He has given me and serve them when He does bring them my way. Then I got scared of what people would think. Then He reminded me that people who are busy accomplishing their goals don't have time to judge the person God sends to help them accomplish their goals. Only idle people who aren't doing what they should be doing, have the time for that. When I read the parable of the talents, God showed me that because of fear, just like the third servant who hid his talent in the ground, many of us have buried what He has entrusted to us. Revelations, gifts, assignments, entire ideas, even entire businesses are sitting in your notes apps and journals. I've been in your shoes before, telling myself that I just need to learn a little more, hiding under research, convincing myself that I'm being productive while I'm just procrastinating. But God told me that done is better than perfect. Not sloppy, not careless, but completed is better than perfected but never launched every single time. That's why He instructed me to create the 5-day Goal Accelerator Bootcamp. So even though I was nervous, I took a step of faith and started creating the bootcamp. God didn't need me to have it all figured out. Every lesson of the bootcamp came one instruction at a time. And when I obeyed the previous instruction, He gave me the next instruction. But God has a sense of humor. The framework that He asked me to teach in the bootcamp is the same framework that I used to set up the bootcamp itself. And it's the same framework that I use personally to accomplish my goals. Was the process uncomfortable? Yes. Was it stretching? Yes. But it has been incredibly fruitful. I had the first cohort of the bootcamp within about a month of receiving God's initial instruction. And since then, the testimonies have been mind-blowing. There was this one mom juggling 2 kids. She'd been carrying a course idea for single Christian women for over 10 years. 10 years. She told me that she thought that she had missed her window. But by day 5 of the bootcamp, she had a full course outline and is launching the first cohort of the course this month. That's 10 years of delay, restored through 5 days of obedience. Testimonies like that just solidify for me that this bootcamp was never about me, but is about unlocking what God has placed inside of others. That goal, that idea, that dream that God has placed in your heart isn't just about you. It's about what He wants to use it to accomplish in the lives of others. Every day that you delay, someone is waiting on what God told you to create. Every month that you procrastinate, someone's breakthrough stays on hold. Creation is fruitfulness. Let me ask you something. Everything that you love and admire, didn't someone create it? Those sermons that have blessed you so much, they exist because somebody created beauty from ashes. Those books that have changed your life, someone sat down and wrote them. Scared, imperfect, but obedient. You wouldn't have been blessed by any of it if they were never created. So when you create what God tells you to, your obedience becomes someone else's breakthrough. That's why Ecclesiastes 11:4 tells us, whoever watches the wind will not plant. Whoever looks at the clouds will not reap. If you keep waiting for the perfect conditions, you will wait forever. Waiting for the perfect time is how people bury their purpose. The perfect time is when God says go, not necessarily when you feel ready. You keep watching everyone else create the life that you wish you had, all because you refuse to move. You keep praying to God for answers. And God is like, I already answered your prayer through the idea that I gave you. God has already given you the seed. You just have to plant it so that you can reap the harvest that you've been praying for. You don't need permission, a platform, or perfection. You just need to execute. God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. Genesis 1 reminds us that we are made in the image of a creator. That means that creating isn't optional. It's part of your spiritual DNA. And the enemy knows that. That's why he doesn't mind if you pray, plan, or have a Pinterest board full of vision boards, as long as you never obey. That's why he wants to keep you scrolling, doubting, and second-guessing yourself. Because the moment you create, you are being fruitful and you multiply. Obedience is the bridge between inspiration and transformation. So this is your confirmation. You've read enough, planned enough, watched enough. Now it's time to move. It doesn't need to be perfect. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be obedient. Start with what's already in your hands. Start with what you already know. Start with what you've already consumed. Take the idea that has been sitting in your notes and bring it to life. God can't multiply what you refuse to release. You might be scared, but God has not given you the spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. Fear is simply the enemy's tactic to delay you. So do it anyways, because obedience will always outweigh perfection. So if you are ready to stop consuming and start creating what God has placed in your heart to, join me in the 5-day Goal Accelerator Bootcamp. It's where I walk you step by step through turning your God-given ideas into tangible results before the end of the year. God has used it to unlock others, and I believe that He wants to use it to unlock you too. You'll break the pattern of overthinking, perfectionism, and fear, and finally move from intention to execution. If you know that this message is for you, don't hesitate, don't procrastinate. Click the link and join us. Let's build what heaven has put in your hands to create. Creating this video is my own act of obedience. I didn't wait for the perfect lighting or a million subscribers. I just obeyed because God said go. So here's my question for you. What's your own act of obedience going to be? Stop consuming, start creating, and watch how He multiplies it.